In 2013, fellow YouTuber and self-proclaimed professional goofball Hank Ween voiced his annoyance about the fact that many people don't seem to understand that everything is chemicals. I wholeheartedly agree that it's a bit problematic that chemicals seems to have become a bad word, but I also see a similar problem with another word, politics. Like Hank Ween said that everything is chemicals, I propose that everything is politics. Unlike chemistry, which, as a part of the sciences, is a way to describe and explore our physical world, politics is a part of the humanities. As such, politics concerns something that makes everything more complicated, us humans. In fact, we made it so complicated that it's hard to define what exactly it is. Politics was originally a term that the ancient Greeks used to refer to the affairs of cities. We don't seem to have such an easy definition anymore. It's clear that to our modern ears, politics is something else than just cities dealing with each other, but if you were to ask somebody what exactly it is, chances are you wouldn't get an all too satisfying answer. Dictionaries don't seem to be more help in this than people. If you were to look up politics on dictionary.com, you'd find that the definitions of politics and political just link to each other without any further explanation. Maybe this is because of laziness or an oversight, but maybe the writers of dictionary.com wanted to play it safe. Well, I'm gonna wait out a bit more than they did and at least try to give a modern definition. Politics are the dealings of people and their communities with each other. This definition is a combination of all the ones I found while trying to get a grip of how different people define the term. I hope that you all can agree on that definition, no matter if you already agree with my thesis that everything is politics or not, and even if you're an ancient Greek. I'd argue that like everything that physically exists can be described and examined with chemistry and is therefore technically a chemical, everything that's an effect of two or more people interacting with each other is politics. There are, of course, politicians. People who take care of politics for a living. Even though I don't feel like most of them do the best of jobs, I'm still thankful that they are a thing, because I'm pretty certain the world would end up in chaos if there was nobody tasked with taking care of the more complicated and wide-reaching politics. Having a handful of people take care of this full time doesn't mean that the rest of us are safe from politics. If they could do that, the downside to it would be that they had full control of our lives. Even if I wasn't interested in all kinds of politics as much as I am, I'd still say that's the worst option by a long shot. The kind of politics that the politicians can't handle for us, let's call that light politics, is everything from the language we use to unspoken cultural norms. Some people have to think about and engage with this form of politics more than others. For starters, those are non-default people, as I like to call them, or since I'm one of them, us. Many people, well, a huge majority of people, are not straight, able-bodied, white, cis men, but our culture uses this particular minority as a default version of a human. For this reason, non-default people are often reminded that the world sees them as abnormal. That's how our culture developed over the centuries. So default people alive today aren't really at fault for this, but they could help to solve it. For this, they have to engage with the politics that surround non-default people. Sadly, I don't see people doing that as much as I think would be helpful. To be frank, I see the opposite happening a lot. Let's take a step back and talk about the other group that engages with politics more than others. This would be people working on media in creative teams, such as a writer and an artist working on a comic book, a studio working on a movie, a dev team working on a video game. You get the idea. Not only do they have their own politics, because they are multiple people, they also work on stories. Every story has light politics in it, even if it doesn't engage hot bottom issues, which the very existence of non-default people seems to have become. Let's call those heavy politics. Now, if a piece of media goes into heavy politics, there are often complaints about how the creative team should have kept politics out of it. Since I'm an annoying pedant, I just want to scream, that's not possible. On a more serious note though, I love both the light and the heavy politics in fictional media. The light politics, because no matter how frustrating and confusing people can be, we are still a lovely bunch, especially in groups. And the heavy politics, because I want to be engaged in serious and important topics while doing stuff I do for fun. I know that many people don't feel that way, and that's completely fine. I just feel differently. Many people want to use escapist media to get away from heavy politics. I just want to get my mind off my own life. It seems like the way I feel is also the way many of the creative teams feel, hence them putting heavy politics into their works. I don't really think that there is a right or wrong thing to want to get away from with the media you consume. If you have any thoughts on all this, feel free to tell me in the comments or on social media. There's gonna be something new from me next Tuesday, same time, so make sure to subscribe for that. Oh, and don't forget to be awesome.